Hey everyone, Deja Drew here. Today we're going to be going over how to install FreetrackNOIR, which is a cool program that allows you to track your facial movements and use that information to move your character's head around in 3D space in a game. So, specifically in this tutorial, we're going to be using it for Elite Dangerous, which is a amazing game that's in alpha right now. Uh, and I know a lot of people out there have been trying to get this working, so I wanted to put together a quick video on how to do it. It's really easy. So without further ado, here we go. First, bring up Google, then go to freetracknoir, which I already had in there, and click SourceForge, downloads the project, and then download. This will take just about 5 seconds to get your download link going. There, come on, there we go. That's about 75 megs. And then you're also going to need this file, which is under Files. You're going to need the supported games CSV file. And what this file will do is allow you to play, for one, Elite Dangerous with this, but also some other games that have come out since the 1.7 patch. Fortunately enough, the guys who made this are still working on it sometimes, and while they're not doing a lot of new features, they are adding new games whenever they can. So it's something that should work for Star Citizen as well once we have support for it. But as of right now, I'm not aware of a way to get this working with Star Citizen, but I will amend this video if I figure that out. So we have finished our download and we have finished our CSV file. You will then run and install FacetrackNOIR or FacetrackNOIR. In this case, I've already got it installed, so I'm going to cancel out of this, and I'm going to go to my C drive, program files, and go to the FacetrackNOIR folder. Open up the folder that has my game or my CSV file. I'm going to drag that right over to my folder for FacetrackNOIR. Click continue, and that'll overwrite the file that tells the free tracker what it can work with or what it can't work with. So now we're going to just double click our exe in there. I'm going to minimize it. Here we go. So this program is actually very easy to set up. I believe it starts out with one unsmoothing, and this isn't set. These are all selected. Excuse me, I'm just getting it back to restart. So this is how the program should start for you. So the first thing you want to do is go into settings over here. And for Elite Dangerous, you're not going to need any of this stuff. I get rid of roll because it really messes with things. It doesn't do a very good job tracking your head's roll motion, and it's really unnecessary for looking around in the cockpit. So with just pitch and yaw, you can look anywhere you need to. XYZ is also not used because we're not controlling the mouse or anything. We're just controlling a character's head. So click OK on that. And then the other thing I do is I invert my pitch on the Y, or invert my pitch, excuse me, not on the Y. The Y is a separate variable. But the reason you do that is because when I first went into the game, when I looked up, I looked down, and vice versa. So that wasn't right. Next thing I do is I go into settings on the free track game protocol. And by the way, what these are here is the first is the tracker source, which is the API for reading your face. But there's also other options, which is point tracker and face tracker UDP, and this inertial head tracker. I believe the inertial head tracker is for like if you have a Wiimote that you have connected to your computer, then you can use the inertial information from that to also control this. But I haven't tested that yet, so you may want to, I'm not sure how that works. Anyway, so the point tracker is for a more traditional tracking system, which is what you see in the paid-for TrackIR system. You can make your own version of this, which I'm going to be doing a tutorial on soon. including how to make the entire apparatus and solder it, the whole thing. It's really not that complicated, and it really makes it so that it's sure to do the job correctly. Whereas what I'm showing you now is good, but it's free for a reason. That it's not really as good as it could be. Not to say that the technology that went into it is bad, but more that the just the ability for a computer to read a face in poor lighting conditions can be difficult. So next up, we'll go back to Face API, and then this filter over here just allows you to filter certain things. I always just leave this alone. I honestly don't really know how that works, so leave it alone. Next thing we want to do is go over to FreeTrack 2.0. You want to make sure that it's selected to start a dummy TrackIR, and then I have it selected to use TrackIR hide FreeTrack, which makes it look like it's using the actual TrackIR software. And then right here is curves. So let's actually get this thing working, and then we'll take a look at what curves do. So first thing you want to do is get your webcam pointed at you, make sure that it's straight on to you, and press the start button. And it crashed. I wonder why it did that. It's probably because I'm recording this. Let's see if this is going to give us trouble while I'm recording. Nope, there we go. Alright, it just crashed. I don't know why. It decided to be mean. All of our settings are still there, so it's all good. Now, my camera settings are pretty basic, but you'll see it immediately put this thing on my face, and it looks like it's got a little weird caricature on my face. But you'll see that there's a little guy in the corner right here. He represents how your head is turning. So as I turn left, he turns left probably a bit too much. As I turn right, he turns right. So the idea here is that you can move your head just a bit and get full range of motion. So what you want to do is get into the curves, and for Elite Dangerous, I like to limit the pitch up to a certain amount because otherwise you end up clipping the game. And same with the yaw, clip it at a certain amount. These settings, to be honest, I'm not totally happy with them. I suggest everybody just mess with it until you like it. So let's get into the game so you can actually see how this works. As you see how I lost my face there for a sec? When it goes over to the side, it's really swinging hard. I think that the lighting is bad here. So another thing is that you want to mess with your webcam settings and adjust brightness, contrast, all that stuff. I'm not going to go over that in this video because every webcam controls that differently. But basically what you want to do is mess with it until it looks like it's reading your face as well as possible. Remember those settings and then use that every time. So let's load up Elite Dangerous. Oh, there we are, I think. Alright, I'm just going to do single player mode for right now just to show how it works. Alright, so we are in the game now, and as you can see, the tracking is working. So I can look in pretty much any direction I need, and it does a pretty darn good job of tracking my face. It's pretty accurate, pretty fast. But it does have some limitations and some bugs. If you look too far to the top, there, you see how it's bugging out there? That's a little bit because of the curve setting I have set up, and a little bit because it's not reading my face correctly. So when I go and I get up to the top, it's like actually making so I'm looking a little to the left, and it bugs out the inputs in the game. So it's really not that big a deal though. Most of the time your target's going to be within here, and it's only about another inch of view anyway before you hit the back bulkhead, which you can see right there. when I look to the left, it's just not working quite right on the right. So we can also mess with the curves a little bit. I'll show you what that looks like in game. There we go. So if I go and mess with this a bunch and make it so that maybe it gets to the top faster, which might be nice actually, and goes a little bit further. So let's see how this works. Think. And now if I go in game, I'm looking up, and then it goes really fast. So now it goes all the way back to the bulkhead, but it's still giving me the same trouble. It still sort of works. But yeah, those are the limitations for what you get with FreeTrack. Most of the time it's pretty darn good, but then you get stuff like that. If you mess with your webcam settings and get the lighting in the room to be really good, it does a much better job. You can also mess with the smoothing. Smoothing just makes it so that it's a little bit of delayed input, but it's not as jagged. You don't get as many like jagged movements. Your head doesn't move as quickly around. But that can have its disadvantages too, that it'll give you kind of a feeling of delay or lag. So that's it. That'll complete the tutorial for how to get FreetrackNOIR working with Dangerous, at least pretty well. As you can see, I've definitely got some bug fixes that I need to get working. But as I get these things fixed, I'll put up some more tutorials. Also, I'm going to be putting up another tutorial in the next couple of days that will have how to build your own LED-based tracking system. And what that will allow you to do is do the exact same thing as the $150 paid TrackIR system, but for about, well, if you have a soldering iron already, it's really only about 15-20 bucks worth of material, maybe even less. With the soldering iron, it's another 10 bucks or so. And then if you want to get fancy with it, you can build your own pace and stuff. But the sky's the limit, it's there. And what that does is give you very, very accurate tracking, where there's no misinterpretation of the motion, there's no losing your face because it turned too far to the right, and it's just much more stable. It's also, funny enough, actually much more processor efficient than the TrackIR paid system. So if you have an older computer, not only will you save money, but you'll save on your processor and the game will run better. It's all over a very good solution. So stay tuned for that. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Bye.